Hello everybody, and welcome to another unedited tutorial. Speaking of unedited, I just want to give a quick update. My special series intro has pretty much almost been finished. I've been able to finally render out the intro to it, which is what's been causing all the problems. It's very apparently processor intensive with all the motion graphics, at least on my little laptop here. This is not a professional rig by any means. But that's all done now, so all that's left is just cutting, which should be pretty quick and shouldn't cause any more problems. So that series will hopefully be up soon. But in the meantime, here is another unedited tutorial. So this, if you look at it, it doesn't look like a tutorial, right? It looks like I'm playing an adventure map. So this was actually inspired by an adventure map that I saw someone else play on YouTube. It was a long time ago, so I'm sorry, I don't remember who the Let's Player was, I don't remember who designed the map, or even what the name of the map was. If anyone recognizes this setup, please leave a link in the comments below, and I will definitely add the credit into the description, if I figure out who it was. But basically, this is an adventure puzzle map style puzzle, I guess, a system, whatever you want to call it. So the idea here is that you're thrown into this room and you're trying to get out, but you can't break blocks because it's an adventure map. Now I came in with 8 redstone, but what do I do with it? I don't know. Well, the key thing here is we see this redstone lamp, so maybe we need to power this, right? And we also see this line of blocks on this side that is different from the rest of the wall, so maybe that's our way out. But we can't get through, so how do we open it? So, first thing we want to try, maybe... Nope, nothing. But we see the redstone there, right? So that's a redstone, ore block, so obviously it doesn't normally give redstone signal. But, let's just try something. Oh, look at that! Redstone comes out of this redstone ore. So maybe if we just bring this over to the door, it'll open. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Nope. Didn't give me enough redstone to actually get to the door. So obviously that's not the way you do it. So the whole point of this setup is that certain blocks work differently with regards to redstone than you would assume just by looking at them. So in this case, redstone ore generates power, but it doesn't reach all the way to that door. So what if we light up this lantern, this lamp, with redstone? Oops, how'd that happen? What if we light up this lamp with redstone? Well, it turned on, but so what, right? Like, who cares? Oh, look at that, it's staying on. So if the power here is staying on, maybe the power here is staying on as well. And it is. So now we can take all this redstone back, have our power saved at the lamp, which is closer to the door, and then connect this up to the door and see what happens. Ta-da! It opens up, we've won, and now we can get our loot, which is diamonds, because diamonds. Alright, so how does this work? So I'm going to show you the piston door here first, because that's the easiest. So when you run a signal into this bottom block, if I can fly, oh, I'm not in creative mode, that's why. Game mode 1. So when you run a signal into that block, there's just a repeater here on the side, which picks it up. It gets inverted, because we want these pistons extended normally to close the door. It gets inverted, turns on when that turns off, and turns off when that turns on. That signal comes up here, so when you actually power that bottom block, it'll power these pistons. No, sorry. Confused myself. When you power that bottom block, it will depower these pistons, which will retract them and open up the door. So that's the easy part. But now how do we do the power generating ore over there and the power saving lamp over here? Because as you saw, when I put the redstone there at first, nothing happened. and it didn't have any power. It was only once I provided power to it that it saved it for later. So the redstone ore is very simple. All I did was I just put a, where is it? Right there, I think. Yeah. I just put a redstone torch beneath the block in front of the ore. So it's really simple. That's the power source, not the block. It's just a signal. It's just an indicator that there is a torch underneath. So obvious. The more complex part is this. So to save the power, what I'm doing is I'm using a latch. So if you don't know, the way an RS NOR latch is basically two inverters, in other words, two blocks with torches that lead into each other. So this torch provides a signal which comes across here into this inverter, and then this torch provides a signal through this repeater into here. And I just used a repeater for no reason other than so that it wouldn't cross with this line, because then that would be bad. And basically that's it. So what happens is we start this off by doing that. So the way a latch works is when it gets a signal, it saves that state. So if this line turns on, it will stay on, and this one will stay off. If this line turns on, it will stay off. Sorry, it will stay off, and that one will turn on. So basically, it saves whatever state you put it in. So we started off with that button, putting it in this state, and this line here, this line here comes down under that half slab, and then power goes to this inverter, which powers it or depowers it, and then that signal goes into a redstone torch underneath that lamp. Now what that all means is, when this line is off, this lamp is off. When this line is on, this lamp is on. But more importantly, it's being turned on by a redstone torch, which means it's turned on strongly and will conduct a signal through the lamp itself. And so if we see here, the lamp is off, the redstone torch underneath it is off, so it doesn't have a signal. But if we were to power this, which I'm just going to do with a button, because why not? If we power this, it turns that torch off, and this line turns off, which switches the state. So now that line is powered, which powers this lamp, and lag. And then it's powered strongly, so it conducts a signal. So yeah. And that's really it. So the basic mechanics are putting a redstone torch under the block in front of all your power sources, putting an inverted signal to power your pistons, sticky pistons, for your door, coming out of the block below the actual door, and a latch here leading into a torch underneath the lamp to power it strongly and conduct a signal inside. Just make sure you do put this other torch here, this other inverter, somewhere along the line from the latch itself. Otherwise, so because this torch inverts and then this torch inverts, it's actually going to be the wrong signal and it's going to be swapped, and so powering it is going to turn it off instead of on, and confusion happens. And yeah, so this is the whole system. Now in the map that I mentioned that I don't remember, which again, if anyone recognizes this setup and can tell me what that map was, or the Let's Player who played it, I would appreciate that in the comments below. But what they did was they started off with stuff like this, and the idea was they would give you a certain number of redstone dust pieces, and you would have to use that to transfer signals all over the place. And what they would do is they would have colored wool as sort of indicators of pieces that connected. So let's say this part right here was if this part was like a red wool, and then there was red wool over here, you could put a signal into here and it would come out here. So that would allow you to also sort of transport signals without a direct redstone line. And again, I'm not the one who made that map, so I'm not sure exactly how they did it, but I think the way it worked, and this is how I would have done it, is you just put a repeater. You would just put a repeater behind all of the blocks, and then run your own redstone line behind the scenes into another repeater going into the other color. Although actually that wouldn't work, because then you could only transmit a signal one direction, and it actually transmits it multiple ways. So to be honest, I actually don't know how he did that part, so I'm not going to try to make a tutorial on something that I don't understand. If I figure it out, maybe I'll update this tutorial later. But for now, at least we have the power generating special blocks in the wall, and the power saving stations over here, and the doors that open when you run a signal into them. Instead of like next to the door or something, you'll notice if we go down here, if there were a roof on here, it's completely flush with the wall, and when it closes it's flush here, so you actually can't see any of the redstone behind it, only what you put down. So yeah, there we go. That is my unedited tutorial for today, and again, my other series will be coming very soon relative to how long it's taken just to edit the intro. And in that description of that video, there are a few things I'm going to need to mention, so be on the lookout for that. And again, if you know who made this, comment below, link me to them, and I will give credit where it is due. So until next time, keep powering, keep saving, keep redstoning.